Today is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. I didn't need pain medicine yesterday, and I was able to sleep through the night. There was a little bit of sweating, but not much. I know for a fact that I'm past the COVID, that there's nothing related to COVID in my body. When I woke up, I was shocked because the pain that I typically experience in my chest area is almost completely gone. That said, I woke up with an irritation in my throat, and as I was eating breakfast, Serena made some eggs for me, and I was finding it difficult to swallow the eggs. There was pain associated with the eggs, and eggs typically don't cause me pain. So this is the reality of this journey. Sometimes it's one step forward, one step back, and it's really hard to know what to expect. Right now I'm driving to a haircut, and then from there I'm going straight to the doctor to get multiple treatments again. I'm sure I'm going to get the PEMF and the laser lights and all of that, so I'll be there for quite a while. I'm incredibly grateful for everything that everyone is doing for me. It really just, it touches my heart in a way that it is hard to describe. It's hard to fathom how so many people care about me. It's hard to fathom that. It's hard for me to fathom that not only that many people care about me, but that so many people are willing to make sacrifices to help me, to help Serena. You know, just a few days ago, for instance, this was just an example of the creative ways in which people are doing things for us. It was evening, and there was a knock at the door, and it was already somewhat late, but I was up and Serena was up, and one of our neighbors was at the door and said, "Hey, we just gathered together to do a community trivia night." And this is something that the community's been doing now for a few years, where randomly during the summer months, the community gets together and everyone chips in money, and they have different tables competing with one another for trivia. And then the winning table keeps all the money. And it's a clever, fun thing that they do. And really, it's more for socializing and having fun, but to add a little interest, there's a little money involved. And our neighbor came over and extended her hand into ours and said, "Our table won." And we unanimously decided we wanted to give this to you. It's one example of many. It's hard to wrap my mind around it. It's a unique place to be in my life. To be in my shoes right now, it's unique. It's surreal. It's hard. I've lost more weight. I'm looking in the mirror and I see a shadow of the person that I was. I see the skin and bones that just a few short months ago I saw muscle and strength. I don't want to be in this situation. I want to be healthy. I want to be completely well. I want to work. I want to figure out what I'm going to do next. The various things that I've launched had so much promise, and circumstances as they are, they've failed. I have not failed. They have failed. I don't accept the language that I'm a failure. I don't. Because as often as I get knocked down by the grace of God, I pick myself up and press forward with faith and confidence that this next thing will be the one. And it's not a haphazard getting up and just randomly going in any direction. I pray about what I should do. I consider my next steps, and I thoughtfully prepare. God's timing is everything. And when things don't go as planned, there's a lesson in it. And I suppose I need to do a better job at processing the lesson and learning what I must in order to then move past that lesson and not have to go through the experience again. There's something that I'm missing, because if I were not, I would not have to go through that lesson again and again. Maybe it's a hard attitude, maybe it's a practical lesson, but I'm sure there's something of an epiphany that I'm still waiting for and will get to. The day just started, and it's a good day, but not without its challenges. You know, I put on a shirt, the shirt that I'm wearing now. Just a few short months ago, it was tight on me, and I wasn't sure how much longer I could wear it, and now it's loose. The pants that I'm wearing right now, I have to tighten around my waist with a belt, whereas before they were so tight that I thought, well, it's probably time to get rid of these. And it's so frustrating to watch my body fall apart before my eyes. It's so frustrating to not be able to independently pay for things, to be in a vulnerable position of need. But I'm waiting for my deliverance. I'm waiting for my rescue. I'm waiting for my healing. And believing by faith that it will come. There was another Bible verse that that I believe God has led me to. And I've stopped hearing my name being called at night, and I've stopped playing the Bible verses on loop regarding healing. Instead, I've been playing hymns over on the instrument of a harp, because it's been soothing and calming. It's been harder to sleep through the Bible verses because even at an imperceptible level, I hear what seems like or sounds like whispers, and it makes me want to listen and not rest and sleep. So, however, every once in a while I've been going back to the Bible verses, and the last few times that I have, it's interesting that I didn't hear my name, but divinely, I suddenly was up and I brought the phone to my ear, and I heard, "Heal me and I will be healed. Save me and I will be saved." And I heard that a few times consecutively. So I'm holding on to that. And of course I started to pray that. Oh, yes. Serena is doing better, but this has to be weighing on her, I'm sure. It's hard for her to watch me suffer. Today she was trying to get me to take some food with me, and I was frustrated as I was walking out the door, and I just said, "I just don't want anything. I just don't want anything." And it's hard for her, and she's not at 100% yet. Every day she's doing multiple loads of laundry so that every night the sheets in the bed are clean and fresh. And she's preparing my shakes, preparing my breakfast. We have neighbors, of course, that are bringing meals every day, just about. But Serena is outside mowing the lawn in her COVID condition. You know, she's doing the lion's share of the work right now. I'm eager to get back into the ring and help in a more tangible way. So for now, my haircut, and then next, my treatment, and then hopefully today, this machine that I've been waiting for will arrive. It keeps getting delayed. And in the past, I'd be pounding my fists on the ground in anger, but now I just have to laugh and say, "All right, God, you have a reason. You have a reason. This has been delayed over a week now. You have a reason." And so, who am I to argue with that? I had to wait a little bit to continue. Maybe I didn't wait long enough, but I'm so grateful to God for my hairstylist, because she's a dear sister in the Lord, and whenever I'm getting my hair cut, we have wonderful conversations. I really appreciate her, and I've been going to her exclusively for 4 years now, since I've moved here, and she's just very dear. And when I pulled out my credit card to pay, She escorted me to the door and said it's already taken care of. I'm overwhelmed by the kindness people show me. It overwhelms me. And so I got into my car and I prayed that God would reward her generosity and bless her 1,000-fold in ways that she cannot even begin to imagine. I got in my car and called Serena to tell her, and I could barely speak because of the emotions. And Serena informed me that there was an anonymous gift that was just made, and that some neighbors called to find out if they can bring us Chipotle tonight. I am forever changed. Forever changed by the kindness people have shown me. Now the first part of today's treatment is the PEMF. So, getting the PEMF and the jolts. Part 2 for today is getting laser treatments. Something I didn't mention yesterday when I was in my car, I was singing. Well, I did mention this, that for a moment I could carry a tune. And I think it's because of this treatment that I'm having right now, that it did something to soften the tissues in my esophagus, and somehow miraculously I was able to sing again. It was just for a moment, but it's incredible. The combined treatment of the PEMF that I just had a second ago and this seems to do wonders for my pain management. And I know that there's other benefits, but most impactful to me is the reduction in pain that I experience. The rest of today has been rather interesting, good and bad. So let me start with the good. Amazing neighbors, just amazing neighbors. And neighbors that brought me food, neighbors that gave us a generous gift to help us, neighbors that stopped what they were doing because we needed some help with something. My cousin came by with food, driving an hour in order to bring some food that she wanted to share with us, and so that we wouldn't have to cook. And the machine arrived. And it's working magnificently. It's all set up. Everything's working well. So now the bad. I was on the phone while I was eating, and because of that, I didn't chew my food well enough, and some food got stuck in my throat. And this was the worst of it. This was the worst of the worst pain that I've experienced to date. And it lasted an incredibly long time. In fact, it's still not completely gone. But I was grabbing my chest in such awful, awful pain. It was stuck. The food was stuck. I ended up having to take 2 doses of liquid oxy, and it still didn't take away the pain. I tried drinking water, and I was hoping to wash it down, and because everything was blocked, the water created pressure in that area that made me scream even louder. It didn't want to go down. I started getting the hiccups and burping, and every time I did, it was just awful. There was nothing anyone could do. There was nothing to be done. I just had to go through it. I went outside for a little while, and I was coughing and spitting things up, trying to cough out whatever food was there. I did not want to vomit. If I were to have vomited, I think I would have passed out from the pain. So it was this balance of trying to spit up what was stuck without vomiting, which would have tortured me, and it wouldn't work. I just had to suffer. And I did. Suffer, I did. It was awful, awful, awful. My cousin was over at the time when it just started. And I felt horrible because I could see her eyes watering, and she said that she felt helpless because there wasn't anything that she could do, and there wasn't. There was nothing that anyone could do, and I apologized to her because I didn't want her to see me like that. And she did. And of course, Serena watched me, and she was there offering whatever help and comfort that she could. And I hate having things like this happen in front of her. I would rather have been alone so that she would not have seen any of that. It really breaks my heart to watch her suffer and seeing my cousin suffer. When I could finally open up my eyes at different times, I'd look, and the look of concern on my cousin's face and on Serena's face, it was bad. Well, I've made it through, and the machine has arrived. God is good all the time. In this world, you will have troubles. In this world, you will have troubles. Not you might. You will. But be of good cheer, because Jesus has overcome the world. And so, that is the update of today. Wow. The days are so different for me. I never know what's going to happen. It turns out that the new machine, I ran a program, but I wasn't able to run a program against the tumor because it is recommended that for a certain period of days, you run another program to prepare your body for everything that you're going to do. So tomorrow I'll be talking to some experts and finding out if, in fact, I need to go through that preliminary process, or the fact that I've gone through PEMF and another RIFE, if that's enough. I don't know. We'll see. I will follow the protocol. I will do what is required. I'm still having some pain. And I've said this to you before, that I will not put you through that suffering of watching me suffer. It's enough sorrow to see the expression on my wife's face, on my cousin's face, on my friend's face when they saw me trying to swallow the capsules that got stuck. That is sufficient sorrow. You don't need that. I would gladly bear that alone to spare you. But please pray. This machine has arrived at the time where the final chapter is already in motion. So now we wait for the outcome. And I'm hopeful it will be positive.